So look at the section 1.4, repeated factors. So repeated factors means that you can have a fraction that will have two of the same factor in the denominator. So you could have one like this. So you've got a quadratic on the top and you've got a cubic on the bottom, but x plus 1 is repeated twice. So you need to know to spot it, to check whether you have got a repeated factor question or not. If you're lucky, they will tell you what to split it to. So the next bit that I'm going to write, they might give it to you, but they might not. So 3 factors means you have 3 fractions. So what are the fractions? Well, it's a over x plus 1. And you might think I will have b over x plus 1 as well. And then c over 2x plus 1. But a over x plus 1 and b over x plus 1, if you add them together, you're still going to get a plus b over x plus 1, so, and a constant over x plus 1, so that doesn't make sense. So, and then if you brought it to the common denominator, you would not get 3 factors. So to allow for that, you're going to put b over x plus 1 squared. And maybe that a will work out to be 0. Most of the time it won't, but you will definitely have to have b non-zero, otherwise it's not going to work. So the next step is exactly the same as in the examples before. Need to find the equivalent to the numerator, so either through multiplying the right hand side by the factors here. So I'll just write it down here. We are multiplying by x plus 1 squared and then 2x plus 1. So you could see that from the first one, the x plus 1 is common, that will go. If you multiply the second fraction by x plus 1 squared, so you're multiplying through, and 2x plus 1, then both of these will go. And then finally, if you multiply this one by x plus 1 squared and then 2x plus 1, the x plus 1 will go. And obviously with multiplying through that across. Alternatively, bring it to the common denominator. So now equating the numerators, or what's left over, you will have a multiplied by x plus 1 and then 2x plus 1. So I like to think of it, it has x plus 1. It needs to be given the remaining parts of the denominator, so an x plus 1 and 2x plus 1. B, it has got x plus 1 squared, so it only needs 2x plus 1. And C, as already has 2x plus 1, so give it x plus 1 squared. So let's have a look at finding the values of a, b and c. So first of all, make x equal to minus 1. So that will give me 11 times minus 1 squared plus 14 times minus 1 plus 5. This will go to 0 and the c will go to 0. So you just need to consider the middle part. So if you put minus 1, you have 2 times minus 1 plus 1. So put it into the calculator, you have 11 plus 5, 16 minus 14, so that's going to be 2, is equal to minus b. That gives me b is equal to minus 1. Noticed a mistake here, so I had to stop. B is not minus 1, b is minus 2. Okay, so the second value we're going to substitute is the one that makes the bracket with 2x plus 1 disappear, so it's minus 0.5. Substitute that, again use the ans key on the calculator. So let's just put that in to show the method. So over here you can see you're going to get 0.75. On the right hand side, if I put minus 0.5 into this expression involving a, that will go to 0. Involving b, that will go to 0. So just left with this one, so it's going to be c times minus 0.5 plus 1 squared, so it's c, that's going to be 0.25. So if that gives me c is equal to 3. If you divide 0.75 by a quarter, you'll get 3. So now you might think, well, what's happening here? I haven't got any more brackets to consider, so I've run out of values. So you might consider multiplying it out, comparing coefficients, but better to pick another value, so something like 0. Unless there are already zeros there, then pick 1. 0 is a good one to pick because this one goes to 0, this one goes to 0, so you're just left with 5. Over here you will have a, 0 plus 1 is 1, 2 times 0 plus 1 is another 1. So then for b you will have b, and then 2 times 0 plus 1 is another 1, and for c again you'll have 1 squared. So that's equal to a plus b and plus c. So c is 3, b is minus 2, so you've got 5 is equal to a plus 1, giving us a equal to 4. So let's put these values together. So you'll have 4 over x plus 1. b was minus, so put minus and then put 2 in the numerator, x plus 1 all squared. And c is 3 over 2x plus 1. Takes you to exercise 1E.